but I don't think that determines whether or not the media.
He does it often.
Okay.
Well, that was my point. He does it often. Like if somebody does do that, and a quick story. I had a friend who works in sports, and he was doing a story about Trump's trying to buy a baseball team. He commented on it on a local TV station. Do you know that he got letterhead about his commentary about the organization? This was before he was the president. But just to let you know how litigious he is, like he doesn't play any of that. So the idea that like people are just out here lying on him wholesale and he's just not going to respond, like no.
But that's not the metric that you use. That's not a metric. That's not a metric to determine whether or not something's true. It's based on the evidence, not whether or not Trump's going to sue somebody. I don't give a shit if Trump sues anybody.
No, I wasn't saying that was a metric we could use. What I was saying
What's the point of it, though? I don't understand the point of bringing it up.
Bigger. Oh, well, the point of that was to explain that the other side is much bigger than the small part that is lying. And to equate the two...
Dude, the vast majority of the bullshit said by Trump is bullshit. I cover this nonstop all day. It is an insane fucking train of nonstop bullshit. And, there are legitimate criticisms to levy at him. And I think what's ridiculous is if the media... trust in the media is at a huge low. And so if he actually does something that's fucked up, people aren't going to believe the media when they point it out. And that's very bad as well.
Well, the media, and I'm going to say this, and I don't know if you'll get where I'm coming from on this, but think about how many baby boomers we have in America right now. These people who went to Facebook and went to Yahoo, just wanting to get online. They didn't take, media classes in high school like the millennials or learn anything about, what's good and what's bad. These people would go to Yahoo, go to Facebook, and be given stories that they would later find out were not true. And before you know it, they didn't know what to believe. And now we're in a period of what? We have journalism everywhere. We have media everywhere, 24/7 news cycle. And you have people not only confused, but you have people deciding, okay, I'm going to find an echo chamber that I agree with, and I'm just going to fight from this corner because I don't know what to believe. So we thought the mass information, that we would see in 2019 would be this awakening of knowledge. But what we actually found out was this, it became a mass.
Who's we? I don't understand this we. Who's we? What do you mean we? We found out? I don't.
Most Americans thought
but how does that work? Everyone believes the same thing? Why can't people believe what they want and talk about what they want? Why do they have to believe they can just believe what they want? That's the beauty of the internet. People can just talk to who they want, believe what they want. I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, the problem with that is how much of that is false and how much of that is true, going back to your original point. So mainstream media, they do have certain standards. As raggedy as they are, they do have certain standards. Online journals, online podcasts, online things, they don't have those standards. And now we're at a point to where we have flat earthers and Bigfoot truthers.
So what?
And these things are not a coincidence.
Who cares? Why do you care if someone believes in Bigfoot? I don't care about that. Like, I don't understand the problem. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in any of that shit. But why do people have to be controlled or forced to believe something that you want them to believe?
Yeah, I never said that. I never said anybody needs to be controlled or forced to believe anything. What I said is, if people can't discern good from bad,
they can. From fiction, I think most people can. That's why people don't trust the media. The media has.
As I said,
okay, I mean, I think it's a good sign that most people don't trust the media.
Yeah, I think that's too limiting because we're not just talking about traditional media. Most people use tablets and phones and they unplug from cable, so they're not necessarily staying in front of mainstream media as they were before. Viewership is down across
That's
the board.
Fantastic.
Yeah, right. But when they go to YouTube, and if you know anything about YouTube algorithms, the more videos you watch, the more extreme information you get. My man.
Oh, okay. Listen. You know. I truly invite you. Okay, this is my second channel. I'm being completely serious here. I truly invite you to watch my show every night. I stream at 8 p.m. Eastern on a channel called Hard Bastard. And if you want to hop in one night in the chat and tell me that you're there, we can go over that entire New York Times article and why the whole YouTube algorithm radicalizing people is 100% bullshit. You are believing bullshit, sir.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. Sure? Absolutely.
You want me to tell you why you're wrong on this?
I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that.
Tristan Harris and Tulsi Gabbard. These are two people who covered internet technology since the 90s. These are internet journalists. Not only have they looked at like how Silicon Valley operates, because we deal in what? An attention economy. An attention economy means the longer I keep you on a website,
right.
the more
Did you read the article?
I'm going to get.
Did the article quote them?
I've read a lot of articles and 3 books on it. And
Great, that's fantastic. I'm asking you about the New York Times article. Did you read the New York Times article?
Which article are you talking about?
The New York Times article.
Title, author?
Are you fucking kidding me? You're giving me information from the New York Times article and you're pretending you didn't read it? Yo, dude, don't bullshit me, okay? I'll talk with you all night, but don't fucking bullshit me. Be real. You know what article I'm talking about.
Yeah, you seem sensitive, my man. Like, no, it's not.
No, I just don't like bullshit.
At all.
Don't bullshit me. I call out bullshit. You're bullshitting me.
Well, you just told me that the algorithms didn't exist.
I did not say the algorithms didn't exist. I said that, listen. I said that the algorithms, sir, the idea that the algorithms radicalize people is 100% bullshit. They don't radicalize people. And I asked you about the New York Times article.
Let me ask you a question. Who was the first group that was deplatformed from YouTube for that very reason?
I don't know. InfoWars, maybe?
No, ISIS. ISIS was recruiting online on YouTube.
ISIS are fucking terrorists, okay? Alex Jones is not a terrorist, sir. ISIS are terrorists. Alex Jones is not terrorist.
Anything about Alex Jones?
Well, because you're putting this shit in the same category. Illegal shit is not in the same category of politicians.
Are you okay?
Give me your example.
Okay?
Give me the example. Who are you talking about?
I just did.
Who is radicalizing people?
I didn't say Alex Jones.
Who is radicalizing people?
I just explained it to you.
Hello, who is radicalizing people?
I just explained that to you.
Yeah, I understand ISIS are terrorists, but you're saying that people are radicalized by the algorithm. I'm simply asking you, who's doing the radicalization?
Right. So you're going to ask again, or you want to hear the actual answer?
All you got to do is answer the question. You don't have to give me a speech. Just answer. Who are you talking about?
Because you start asking questions in the midst of my answer. You know.
No, I'm having a dialogue.
It's a typical game. I've played.
You can do whatever you want. I'm asking you. Okay, who is radicalizing people?
I'm glad you asked again. Now I explain it. If you won't ask a question in the
Yo,
midst
do you
of
know
my answer.
this is like Kurt Eichenwald?
Calm down. The first group to be deplatformed from YouTube was ISIS. ISIS was using recruiting videos on YouTube where they got people from Europe and also people from America to travel to Syria with the idea that they would fight for them. It started off as what? A short video, really quick action shots talking about, different things. Now, by the time that person's YouTube history had been pulled out, and these, they got the case in Europe, they got a few cases in America, what they found was these people's videos got more and more extreme. And, you can tell me this doesn't exist, but I know you got family, and if you got nephews or nieces, and the videos that they watch on YouTube, the videos that
my uncle and aunt are parents that take responsibility for what their kids watch. Yeah, their parents take responsibility for what their kids watch. But anyway, you can continue. It's not on YouTube to raise anyone's kids.
You see how that doesn't work?
How does that not work? Taking responsibility for your kids doesn't work? I don't understand.
Okay, now I'll make you understand. What if they don't? Then what?
They're bad parents. It's not YouTube's responsibility. First of all, terrorists, that shit is illegal. Terrorists should not be on the platform. But you're going to move to another group of people that are political Don't tell me you started this conversation only talking about terrorists. I'm not buying that shit. That's why I asked you. You haven't answered.
I don't care
Who
what you're
are
buying.
you talking?
You're insane. I didn't say Alex Jones.
Look, you can go ad hominem, sir. You can go ad hominem, but I have you in a corner here. Who is radicalizing people?
Insult.
Who is radicalizing people? Okay, you cannot answer it. That's fine, but that's my question.
No, I choose not to answer because it's a stupid question.
Okay.
You knew where I was going.
Okay, I tell you what. Listen.
You wanted to divert.
Thank you for calling. You're at a point where you're refusing to answer questions, which is ridiculous bullshit. Please tune in. Please, that's fine. Use whatever ad hominem you want. It has no effect. Please watch the show.
I mean, it has no effect on me either.
Monday through Friday,
It doesn't make a difference at all.
8 p.m. Eastern on the Hard Bastard channel,
Yeah, be
and
safe,
absolutely fantastic.
safe.
You have
Have
a
a good
great
weekend.
night. Okay. Yeah, there's no way that dude is not referencing the New York Times article. There's no fucking way. Bullshit. But I hope he watches. Because it looks like he bought a lot of the media bullshit, and I want people like that on. All right, so let me reset the board here. We have, let's see, we have 5 callers. So actually, let me write, one second, let me write your names down, or not your names, your area code, and then we will reset the board and we will finish it out. 1 second. All right, so when we come back from the reset, it'll be 951. I need a working pen here. 1 second. I think I'll write it on my phone. All right, 1 second. So we'll go 951. And then after that is 605. And then we'll go 415. And then we'll go 336. We'll go 240. I think that's it. No, 1 second. Yeah, that's it. Okay. If you didn't hear your name, you can say something in the chat, and I'm going to reset this board, and I'll be back in like 3 to 5 minutes. All right, we're back. And so I hope, I want to make sure that if there was someone waiting on hold who was planning to argue or disagree with me, I'm completely cool with that. And I don't want you to think that I'm going to do the same thing to you that I did to that guy. I think a great example between the two types of calls is the one with Patrick Segrin, who I disagree with vehemently, and how that call went and how the call with that guy went. That guy, uniquely, this doesn't happen often, but he was basically corporate media, arguing on behalf of corporate media, all this bullshit. And for whatever, I definitely try to keep a certain, like, I don't want people to think I'm going to bite their head off if they call me. I don't want that. And I want people to freely disagree. But when you get to the point when you're playing the bullshit games, like the I don't want to answer your question, I really have no patience for that. So, he got what he deserved. Now, I truly hope he watches the show, because I want to reach as many people as possible. He's clearly brainwashed by corporate media. And there's no fucking way he wasn't referencing the New York Times article. That's impossible. So anyway, so like I said, if you're calling on hold and you have something that you want to debate, that's completely fine. I think that guy was, I think was that the first caller that I think it's the second caller that ever, I would argue, used corporate media bullshit in their argumentation. I think the last time that happened, it was the guy that I talked about the existence of Darth Vader. I think we were talking about Russian hacking or something. And I got him to basically agree with, I forget how it went. I think very old school listeners might remember the call. We were talking about Russian hacking, and I basically said, like, under his logic, Darth Vader could exist. And I said, so is there a chance Darth Vader exists? And he said, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's where we're at. Anyway, okay, so let's see. First on the list was 951. 951, you're on the air.
Yo, HB.
Yo, what's up?
That dude totally pulled a fucking David Packman on you, but in reverse, he called you.
I know. That was amazing. That was amazing, man.
Well, you won't let me talk, so I'm not going to answer.
I know that. Oh, do you remember the Kurt Eichenwald interview? Do you remember that interview with Tucker Carlson?
Oh, Tucker Carlson, yeah. Exactly.
That's what that was from.
I was like, who the fuck was that?
I'm like, you're using the same tactic as Kurt Eichenwald.
That was great. I hope that guy does come around, because he might have his mind blown.
Yeah, that was enjoyable. I hope he watches. I really do.
Anyways, just wanted to call in and say you're doing a good job, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. You all are a hub for sanity around here.
Thank you.
And I do remember that guy when he called in. It was right after the investigation when they did the test on the download speed for the files.
Yes.
The Russia shit?
Yes.
It was right when that happened, right after, and then that guy called up.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Anyway, I'm going to keep it short, man.
Sure.
You guys had some long calls on here tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, it's Matt, by the way.
Hey, what's up, man?
All right, man. Be cool.
All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Thanks for the support, and have a great night. Thank you for the continued support, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, man.
All right. Take care. I think, you know what was interesting? I don't know, like, I guess he just saw it on YouTube and decided to call the number, because I asked him if he ever saw the show, and he said no. So, I would love, I've said this before, it's very rare. I mean, look, people like Cenk Uygur are never going to put you in a position to cross-examine him. But a person that supports the corporate media bullshit, that rarely happens. So certainly I would love to talk to that guy again. But he needs to answer the questions. I'm not making that a requirement. And I'll absolutely be civil. But if you do the I'm not going to answer your question shit, I mean, there's nothing I can do. All right, next is 605. 605, you're on the air.
Hey, HB, it's Kessler again.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, that was pretty amazing. Yeah,
I
you
thought it was awesome.
Bonafide brainwash.
Yeah.
Like, what I was gonna mention, like commenting on that guy. Like, yeah, there's no way he wasn't referencing the New York Times article because that was front page.
Yeah.
And then basically everybody else slarped off of that right away.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, there's nothing that makes it to the front page of the New York Times that.
Like, what would he be referring to then? Like, that's I mean, come on, yeah.
Right. So you already talked about YouTube algorithms and
Yeah.
shit. It's like you better know like what the fuck you're talking
That
about.
radicalize people. Like, what? Oh, come on. Yeah. Oh well.
Right. I mean, they can, radicalize. I mean, they can steer you in a certain direction in terms of like what content you're going to see, but it's not going to be like, oh, well, you're only going to see Adolf Hitler videos now. Like, that's not how the algorithm works.
And I wondered. Go ahead.
And that's one thing that's like nobody's ever talked about like throughout this whole thing, like that, like knows anything about it in terms of YouTube. So, but yeah, you can continue what you're gonna say.
I was saying I wanted him to tell me if he read the article, because the thing about the article is by the end of it, the dude becomes a lefty. So the idea,
right,
they radicalize people. He became a lefty. Like, it's total bullshit.
Yeah, but okay. The one thing I was gonna say about that is like, does that article explain exactly how he became a lefty, or is like, oh, then I went back to like watching Young Turks videos?
He watched a lefty video, and then he got more lefty videos, and then he became a lefty. Just like he claimed to become an alt-righter, which he really wasn't an alt-righter. It's
like, right, and this is like one reason why like these bitches like fucking Pac-Man probably need to shut the fuck up, because like they're not getting throttled nearly as much as like anybody else. Like basically everybody on YouTube got throttled talking about politics last year. Everybody across the board, didn't fucking matter. Then they started, lessening up, trying to figure out like what fucking keywords they were gonna take out once they started decrypting your shit through their fucking voice learning system. So and that's like the really Orwellian thing about it. Like people don't really fucking like seem to understand yet. At least like in terms of the masses, like us, like people that see it every fucking day. He's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Especially people that have been like on YouTube for years.
Yeah.
Like the good old days of YouTube in the beginning, like that was basically perfect.
Oh, when I got lucky when I first started the channel, the algorithm worked normally, and I was able to get views on my videos. I can't imagine what it would be like now for a new channel to start talking about news. You get buried.
Oh, and I'm honestly like surprised that like you're still able to get monetized off of South Gentleman, right? Like,
well, one of the videos got demonetized, but the other ones didn't. But one did get demonetized. The other two didn't.
Right. So you got two of them that basically were able to quash the algorithm. Might have said one naughty word.
Yeah,
it doesn't highlight like what in the transcript like are the offensive words. It just says, shit out of luck for you.
Not on our end.
That would be
on
like
their end, but not on our end.
Right, on their end, like they can have highlights probably. What is the naughty word?
Yeah, according to the guy that
or
was
a phrase.
Yeah, the guy that was undercover for Veritas, and I mean the whistleblower, he said that they transliterate all our videos and then they categorize it depending on what we're talking about. I think news talk in general is buried.
Yeah, and I knew that was happening at least a year ago.
Oh yeah,
at least a year ago that was happening.
Definitely,
it's really fascinating and like scary for the most part. One thing I was going to ask you, HB, is like, are you familiar with the term postmodernism?
Yeah, I believe I think Jordan Peterson talks about it a lot. Isn't this the basically
postmodernism, critical theory?
Yeah,
they're like basically interlinked.
It's like the kind of basic communists trying to dismantle society, or maybe I'm being too harsh.
No, that you're pretty much. That's 100% accurate there. Like, I was wondering, like, how much do you subscribe to that theory that, like, that is infected like education, upper education,
Oh yeah, I think it's absolutely rife.
society in general.
I think it's rife. It's all in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Like this is like basically one thing that I really started to notice before the election of Trump, and it's just been fascinating. Like even towards the end of the election, I was basically what people would say not a Trump supporter but a Trump apologist, because I wasn't like coming out saying like, yeah, I'm going to vote for this guy, but I was just like, no, like he understands like what this guy is saying is actually not that crazy, and it's not that far back from like even a 90s Democrat, like when you were talking about immigration. Like, did you see? Are you follow Micah Tracy on like
Yes.
Twitter or anything
Yes.
like that?
Yeah.
Did you see like that clip that he posted last night, which was Obama talking about immigration?
I think I've seen the clip
And
before.
it was like in 2014.
Yeah,
I think that was the year.
I've seen it before. I didn't see it from his
like,
account.
Basically,
But
he'd be excommunicated
Yeah.
out of the Democratic Party for what he said in 2014
Yeah.
about immigration, and it's just fucking mind blowing.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
And how do you run back to the middle after last night? I just don't see how you can do it. Even Biden with with the healthcare, yeah, we'll just give him healthcare.
Yeah,
No big deal.
I don't. I mean, they're going to look. I think that might happen. I think like one of the more popular candidates, or if whoever wins the Democratic primary, I think they might attempt to walk back some of the shit. But it's out there. It's on video now. Like you can't. It's going to blow up in their face.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And HP, I was going to humor you with basically this is an exchange between my brother the morning of the Mueller interview.
The interview?
When Mueller came out.
Oh, the press conference.
Yeah, when
Gotcha.
he came out, broke his silence.
Sure.
Yeah. Really, really fascinating. He texted me, and this is the quote. Charging the president is something we could not consider. And that's the only thing he said. And I said, what was Mueller referring to exactly on that? He was kind of vague.
Mm-hmm.
Was he referring to charging the president with obstruction of justice or with collusion?
Probably
That was
obstruction.
my response.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, no, I understand what you're doing. Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
And he was like, yeah, he's referring to obstruction. And my reply was, well, Clinton versus Jones decision seems to contradict that. But these circumstances have not been tried. That Clinton versus Jones decision basically said that, yeah, you can charge a president with a crime. And as to the Justice Department guidelines are exactly what they are, guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
It said that a president should be charged, not that they should not be. And legal scholars disagree both ways. Mueller, with his expertise, doesn't believe that a sitting president can be indicted. He explicitly said so. And he doesn't think that he is innocent. I was like, well, I didn't mention this, but yeah, that's not the job of the prosecutor,
Right.
and you know that, too.
Right.
Like, my brother's very, like, he knows that.
Sure.
It's like he doesn't think that Trump is innocent from an obstruction charge, but as a legal, many experts disagree about it. It's hard to prove obstruction without an underlying crime, and that cuts right to the heart of intent, which is something that you can never prove with, what is it, like 10, 4, 10, 12, whatever their number for obstruction is. It's what is the going number? Do you remember?
It's the obstruction instances anywhere from 6 to 12, I think. It goes back and forth. It's different every time.
Right. I think I've heard as low as 4 one time, but yeah, it jumps. But he said obstruction is a crime, period, and quite a serious one. It's like you're portraying that there needs to be a second crime paired with obstruction of justice to be a thing, which isn't true. And regardless of only that thing that can be done is impeachment. This is a political endeavor and not a legal one. So my big reply to that is like, I know that you don't need an underlying crime, but without an underlying crime, it makes it very hard to prove the intent.
Right.
Which would be extremely difficult to prove. Impeachment should only happen if a crime had occurred. Firing an insubordinate FBI director and or wanting Mueller fired is not obstruction of justice.
Correct. Yeah.
Mueller never said that the investigation was interrupted, but Mueller never said that the investigation was never interrupted by the president's actions. That is a quote from fucking Mueller. And you are missing the bigger picture, which is the media fraud that has been perpetrated on the same level as Iraq WMD and has done more damage to this country than anything Donald Trump has ever done. Then he said, did you read the Mueller report? And what do you think is a lie? I said, the media has lied and I've seen parts of the report. He said, good Lord. Really, most of the media hasn't been lying about the president for 3 years, calling him a traitor. He says that it has nothing to do with obstruction, and I'm calling it lies, showing how narrow-minded and brainwashed you are. So basically all I've done, to talk to my brother about this, I've never been a Trump supporter to him.
Right.
But I was basically like, no, this whole Russia collusion thing is fucking laughable.
Yeah.
And like these people that just see fucking mainstream media reports, they just don't fucking see it. And he said, according to Mueller, there wasn't enough evidence of that. Get over it. Everyone else has. This is about obstruction by president, something far larger and far more important.
What?
I was like, how is accusing the president of being treasonous not more important than accusing him of obstructing justice? And he said, this is the last thing he said, you can justify all this bullshit all you want. I've never seen you once be critical of that pile of shit. Shows how clearly of a fanboy and brainwashed towards this despicable asshole you are. I said I only called out the media for the hysterical accusations on the president. And it's funny how you just sweep it all under the rug when it turns out about that the whole Russia-Trump collusion thing happened to be a lie. He says, I move on. This isn't about winning and losing. Again, you're brainwashed. And no, you're right. It's not about the majority of people for the last 2 years thinking that the president was a traitor or a government was illegitimate. No, that doesn't matter.
Oh, my God. Jeez.
Get over collusion. That was his text.
Get over collusion?
Yeah. Yeah. And I said, this is more important than any other accusation that has been laid forth, and that you ignore it is ridiculous. Last 3 texts that he sent me, focus on what is important. Fuck you. That's insane. You're fucked up and crazy.
He said that to you?
Yes, my brother.
Holy shit. Get over collusion. That's amazing. They told you to get over collusion. That's an incredible statement.
Yes. That will happen too. Like, be ready for that one, people. Like
screaming for 2 years about collusion, and it turns out not to be true, and they tell you to get over collusion. Oh my God, ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like, no, accusing the guy of being a traitor.
That's
he just takes too much talk.
In the Jehovah's Witnesses, they said that Armageddon was coming in 1975 for a few years. That's all they talked about. And then 1975 comes, Armageddon doesn't come, and then some of the witnesses complain, and they are told to get over it. It's not a big deal, get over it. What do you mean? You just for like 3 years we're going off about how it's going to happen. Get over it.
Yeah, 3 years. We are 3 fucking years, and some of them still haven't stopped. Like Pac-Man, he's still on it, right?
Oh yeah.
Chank, because he says, oh well, they didn't look into the finances. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
They had every fucking apparatus that they could so far up his ass, and like people are like, oh, we need to see his taxes. Like, you don't think some motherfuckers in the IRS haven't fucking just went over every nook and cranny of his fucking taxes?
There's been people that have been looking
You're
into his
retarded.
shit, both the IRS and like financial experts trying to get him on something. They've been doing that for a decade. David K. Johnson one time admitted that on the Rachel Maddow show, and I thought, did he inadvertently just admit that Trump has come up clean? Like, why did he say that? That was, I think it was a mistake.
You know, like with how far they've been trying to, the poke and prod him, like it's turned out like that this guy is actually incredibly fucking clean. Like minus, the infidelities and whatnot, but that's not that really big a deal.
Sure,
I
and like
with, our divorce rates at this time.
He plays games with the like the contractors and shit, and like he definitely does stuff that while not illegal, people, if they want to offer criticism for it, fine. But the criminal shit, I mean, I'm interested in the criminal shit. Did he do anything criminal while president or during the election? That's really all that I think matters. What he did 15 years ago, if he didn't pay some contractors or whatever, I mean, I would say pay the contractors, but that has nothing to do with the president now. What did he do now? They have nothing. And so
right. And like that real-time Dark Legend guy says, oh, well, he fucking ordered Cohen to pay Stormy Daniels. Like, well, one, that isn't confirmed. Two, even if that's true, that's
not illegal.
Fine. He pays a fine for that.
If it's even a campaign finance
if
violation.
If it is illegal,
right?
I'm granting him it's illegal.
Right.
It's a fine.
It's a fine.
You don't go to fucking jail.
No.
And you don't
get impeached.
For it.
Obama's campaign was fined a record amount for campaign finance violations. That one specifically, though, is if you can show that you've incurred the expense before running for president, it's not a campaign finance violation. I would think Trump could show a previous expense of paying off whores. I think he could establish that in the past, so it wouldn't even be a violation.
It's like, see, I paid these bitches.
Yeah, he's done it before, so there you go.
Right. I mean, it's like the man has no shame, and that that is a flaw in beauty of the man at the same time. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and look, I don't care if people say, "Hey, I don't like him," and it's because of reasons like that. Okay, whatever, that's fine. You think it's immoral or you don't like it? Great, I don't care. But don't say he's a criminal. He's not a criminal. You could say he's immoral and you can wag your finger, but don't pretend that he's committed some impeachable offense or is somehow worse than other people in Washington. That's all bullshit.
Yeah, and that last bit, the last thing I was going to say, yeah, worse than other people in Washington. It's like, no, they're all rat bastards. I mean,
they're like, some of them are like raping children. Like,
yo. I mean, look at AOC. She was supposed to be the clean, darling Justice Democrat.
Yeah.
And her fucking chief of staff takes fucking $2 million and just shoves it into his company.
Yeah, while pointing their fingers at Trump. Amazing. Yeah. She asked Cohen during that cross-examination about all this financial shit with Trump. Get out of here. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I'll let you get on to the next one.
Sure, I appreciate it.
Watch out for them fucking postmodernists and communists
out
there trying to dabble.
All right.
And you have a good one, HB.
Thank you.
All
right, take care. All right, so we got, let's see, 336 does not look like they called back, so we have two left. We have 415 is next. 415, you're on the air.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, HB?
Awesome.
I don't know if you recall talking to me before. I'm one of your listeners from San Francisco.
Did you call last time and I asked you about the shit all over the place?
That would be me.
Yes, I recall. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good.
So, before we get into the serious stuff, I know you're a connoisseur of the finest of bitches, so I want to give you a recommendation for Autumn Falls.
Okay, Autumn Falls. Let me put it into the phone. Autumn Falls. Okay.
If you like natural titties and
Absolutely.
exotic women,
Very much.
she's your girl.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, no problem. So I got a couple of bullet points I wanted to talk about with the debate. I was watching the first one with you, your stream, and the Cory Booker face when Beto started speaking Spanish before him.
That was great.
That was his ace in the hole, dude. And he got shown up. Beto took the wind out of his sails right there. He was just like, I was like a fucking Bill Cosby.
Oh, you know what, dude? I didn't even think of that because Booker ended up speaking Spanish and no one understood what he was saying, right? And that's why he looked at him. I didn't even put that together. Oh my God, that makes it even better. Oh shit.
Yeah, he one upped him. Someone from Booker's team went to Beto, hey, he's gonna speak Spanish. Beat him to the punch.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Tengo mucho respeto. Yeah, fuck you guys.
That was great.
But
yeah.
But you brought up something I hadn't thought about. You said they're pandering this hard to the illegals. There's got to be a lot of that shit going on. A lot.
Yeah.
And that is just terrifying.
I don't know what else. What other reason they would do it for? But I think it's probably really bad.
Yeah. Well, and this is going to be a warning to all of your listeners as a resident of California. There's an interview with Gavin Newsom saying that the United States is, the rest of the country is where California was in the 90s. And California in the 90s actually was Republican and had some hard times, but it did pretty decently economically, and we didn't have the Silicon Valley boost. We had the beginnings of the dot-com bubble, but we were mostly agricultural. California is like a breadbasket of the world almost. Mm-hmm. Tons of fruits and vegetables and milk, and there's dairies all over the place, all that stuff. And we had a little bit of a recession in the 90s, and the illegals were kind of fucking up our economy by using our services. So we had something called Prop 187. Prop 187 was a proposition put on the ballot in, 1994. And it was overwhelmingly passed. And what it was going to do was stop illegals from going to our schools, using our medical services, and doing basically all the shit they've been doing. Mm-hmm. And that was passed by the voters, and then it was stopped by an activist judge, Jesus. Overturned, and that was the foot in the door. That's why we now have illegal immigrant driver's licenses. They get free health care. They get it screwed the. That's why the state's going down the tubes.
Jesus.
And Gavin Newsom knows this. And I'm going to tell you something else. Kamala Harris was the San Francisco DA here mm-hmm. before. She got her foot in the door, fucking Willie Brown, who was the mayor. And that bitch is a straight sociopath. I'm telling you right now. She will step on anyone. She's Hillary Clinton's levels of diabolical.
Damn.
I'm not joking.
Damn.
So people need to be aware of that. So
she has a shot too. I think she has a shot to be the nominee.
Well, she's going to be like, you don't vote for me, I'm racist. That's the vote.
Oh yeah, card. Absolutely. You know that. Oh yeah.
You don't vote for me, I'm sex.
Yeah.
You don't vote for me, you're sexist.
Yep.
That's the Hillary card, and that's what she's going to go for.
Oh yeah.
I was oppressed. People are racist against me, and I still managed to do what you guys. And I'm telling you, like I said, she fucked and sucked her way all the way to where she is right now. We voted for her in California to get her the fuck out because we knew she was going to try and fuck the state more with Gavin Newsom, and so we put her national, not thinking we were thinking ahead to that she might try and pull a Obama, because if you don't have any, you actually have more of an advantage these days if you don't have a lot of policy, because they can't go back to video like they're doing with Biden and be like, oh, you work with segregation.
Yeah.
They don't have the evidence against you. That's why Obama did well, because they didn't. He was, at the time, he was somewhat moderate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, now what he's saying, like I said 5 years ago, that would sink his ship right now. Because he didn't have a track record for them to really go against. They got nothing to use on. They might try and go after her for being a prosecutor. She was a shitty prosecutor, and she went after the little shit, and she let all the fucking big crimes slide by. She was just bad news. So that's my warning to everyone. If you want to become like California, yeah, this stuff's kind of funny, but take that bitch serious.
Yeah, I think she actually had a decent showing. I mean, she's crazy. The policy's crazy. But as far as, like, chances, like, I think she has a better chance now than Biden to be the nominee. I really don't think she has a chance
Biden
against Trump. But I think, yeah, like, I think she might have ended Biden's campaign right there with that stunt. And it was pretty much bullshit, the whole thing about you're racist. That was a bunch of bullshit.
Biden's sink was already sunk. They were already turning on him before Kamala hit him.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I think once Trump would have started showing some of those little girl videos being creepy,
it would have been over.
Like, yeah, you're kind of not gonna run for president anymore.
Absolutely.
So I kind of wanted him to run, because I think he'd be kind of more ineffectual.
Sure.
Kamala Harris is a straight radical, and like I said, she's a sociopath. Absolutely. And she will fuck this country hard.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to take the chance that she's a nominee, because it's not funny.
Yeah, I mean, that's a concern, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, she had a strong showing. I think, she might be. I don't think she's a threat for the general, but I think she's a threat for the primary. I definitely think it's possible. She checks a lot of the marks, the check boxes they're looking at. I think she appeals to the like white liberals with white guilt. They can think that they're one of the good whites if they vote for the black woman. Like she's definitely a threat for the primary.
Yeah, the self-flagellating white folks. Yeah. Well, the Michael Shannons from Boardwalk Empire.
That show I have not seen, but I imagine the chat knows the reference.
Yeah, he was a super religious. The guy that did prohibition officer, and he had sinful thoughts, and he would flog himself in the back because he was super religious and he didn't want to go against God.
Right. I got
You
you.
probably would have liked that character.
Yeah, that's I like shit like that.
And the one other thing I wanted to mention, you were talking about things going on. Did you notice that there's some rumors going around that they were cutting Yang's mic?
Yeah, I ran the video tonight. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part.
I think it's legit.
I've seen the video.
Yeah.
I don't see how it's not legit.
Yeah.
They let everybody else talk over people. He tried to, and
didn't work.
They didn't.
It clearly didn't work. The mic clearly was off. Yeah. Yeah, and they tried to put some sort of blemish on Tulsi Gabbard's face. NBC. I don't know why they would do that. That's that's so petty. Like, that's so dumb. Like, what are they doing? It just became, politicians were already brutal to begin with, but then they just on the Democrat side became lunatics. Republicans have remained their same shitty selves, okay? But Democrats have been they're absolutely insane. And it's interesting to watch a lot of these commentators that are. I mean, it's basically the same path that I and a lot of people were on. I used to be a liberal and lefty, But to watch people, even like in this article Tim Pool went over today, where it's just like an average Democrat right now looks to this other person and says,
Yeah.
after the debate, I don't think I'm a Democrat anymore, because they're so crazy.
But they get their cheering sections and all
Oh,
the
they do.
fucking Twitter people.
Yeah.
They must think Twitter's real life. They must think those 4,000 people is like the rest of the country.
I think, you know what it is? Technology. There's been a lot of these kind of, like, society has had to catch up. Like, for example, when eBay came out, at first people were selling everything on eBay. You could bootleg videos, you could do all this shit, and then society kind of caught up and they put rules in place. I think that's what's going on with Twitter, that right now people think that the mob on Twitter is actually more people than it actually is. I think eventually they'll wake up and realize, wait, these are just a few thousand fucking retards. We don't have to listen to them. They have no effect on anything. But I think that's what it is. This is going to be like, we'll look back on this and think, oh yeah, remember those elections? I mean, they were kind of affected, at least policy-wise, with the Democrats, affected by social media, because they're pandering to a group, a very small group on social media that wants crazy shit.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I work a blue-collar job. I don't know anyone on Twitter. We're all working.
Right, yeah.
So these people are either activists or journalists who have really nothing to do all day.
Yeah.
But sit around online and bitch about things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, I mean, I work in industrial refrigeration. I'm in a goddamn freezer, and my phone service doesn't even work when I'm in there. So, I mean, how am I going to be on Twitter?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I every once in a while, just to be like, what's going on in there, I'll just start like browsing it, and there's just so much vitriol, and
Yeah.
these people are fucking nuts. And there's a lot of, I mean, you know, Twitter has all these policies. I see a lot of people like fuck white people, fuck white. I mean, all just fucking pages of it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
people are
different
insane.
rules for them. They're allowed to break the rules.
Yeah. I did want to mention one other thing. Somebody was talking about, you come about Iceland and the abortions of people with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
One kind of fucked up thing, being in San Francisco and going to college, I went to city college here. I had to take GE courses, and that meant, so for your general education, they made me take, you know, there was a list of electorates I could take. It was all like lesbian, dance, dairy, and this and that. And one of them was Latin diaspora. That was the only one I thought that wasn't going to make me want to hang myself.
Oh man.
And the teacher, he was from Nicaragua, and he was from Nicaragua during the Iran-Contra thing. So he hated Reagan, like really, really hated Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
He hated white people too.
Oh.
And I was like one or two white dudes in the whole class. And and so I'll give him credit. He let me correct him a lot about stuff because I just got tired of the fuck white people narrative.
Yeah.
But we did see something that I was not aware of that was pretty fucked up. There was the documentary called La Operación on Puerto Rico, where apparently some government politicians from the United States had convinced some of the Latin politicians in Puerto Rico that they should start sterilizing their women to mitigate overpopulation.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it was like women from Puerto Rico were 30 or 40% more likely to be sterilized, and it was pretty rampant over there. So what they were doing, I mean, it's pretty kind of fucked up. They were, making sure that poor people couldn't reproduce.
Jeez. That's ridiculous.
So, yeah. So it's a black and white kind of. It's old. It's from like 1980 something. And but if there's something be interested in, that's something I can recommend you check out. Let me tell you with a grain of salt, it was obviously a very bitter Latina woman that was like, she wanted to be inflammatory, but it was still pretty bad. I'm not going to make any excuses for it.
Sure. Jeez. All right. Well, look,
Anyway,
I appreciate the
so,
call.
yeah.
I got to take the rest of these, but good luck out there.
Absolutely.
You're in a rough spot, and I wish you the best of luck, sir.
Appreciate that. Take care, buddy.
All right. Have a great night. All right. Let's see. All right. So 336 came back. So I believe we are now at the final two, 336 and 240. So 336, you are on the air. 336, you're on the air.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Elron, dog. What's up?
Yo, man, what's going on?
Nothing much, just chilling. Everybody made me call in.
Cool. Welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
I don't have anything to talk about, really.
Yeah. Did you like the debates?
What's up?
Did you, what did you think of the debates?
I don't know, man. It was awesome to go to a circus without having to smell elephant shit, you know?
Right. It's exactly. Yeah, absolute circus.
Yeah. I don't know. Tulsi can get the D. I know I'm like ultra trad in the chat, but she is a fox. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, she's definitely hot. Yeah, absolutely. She's very classy and like composed, and yeah, she's got this stare. Yeah, definitely hot.
Oh yeah, the bedroom eyes. And what I like about the classy is that she's not like classy to be like a bitch about it, you know? Because when she was
Right.
criticizing Trump, and I've seen I watched her campaign ad today. For some reason, it came up after the Tucker interview or something, and it was an hour, like not an hour, but a minute and 30. And it's one of those you're like, I don't give a shit, I'll watch it. And it was legit. She was like, Trump could do better, this and that, but it wasn't like Trump's hell bent
Right.
on destroying the world, like Kirsten Gillibrand,
Yeah.
Miss Tom Petty was doing the other night. That's who she reminds me of, though, but it doesn't work for her.
No, I don't think it would work for any woman to look like Tom Petty.
Yeah, I mean, I love him, but
No, yeah, of course,
like
of
it
course.
goes.
Yeah, that's.
I was wondering if they were going to ask her about NXIVM, but they didn't.
Oh yeah, they're going to be safe. That would have been nice because yeah, her father was involved in the cult or whatever.
Turn on the sonar. What the fuck is this talking about, Poverty? No, but I thought he was saying I was supposed to blast somebody from space.
Yeah. I think someone.
But that was definitely RTDL earlier. Sorry.
Was it? Oh wait, no. Let's get to that. Do you think it was? Wouldn't he have said who his name
for
was?
Sure.
Really?
No, he's a coward. Yes, absolutely. The chat was picking up on it, and
Wait.
I can't remember if it was Bob
Okay.
or somebody, and they said, listen to the patterns that he speaks in. He talks like he speaks, and I was like, damn, super sleuth. You know what I mean?
Okay, so here's the thing,
Because
though.
the way he went about it and did the
Right.
Pac-Man, people were saying Black Pac-Man because he was clearly black. You know? I'm
Oh,
not
absolutely,
hating it. He was
absolutely.
clearly black. And somebody said Black Pac-Man because of the way you said, can we stay on one subject?
Right.
Or stop gish galloping me and all that. And then he would, well, I don't know, what's a chat? What is a cell phone? Like, what is... And he knew all these things about Trump, but he had just started watching. Sounds just like RTDL.
He said he never saw the show. This is that he just first saw, like I guess he randomly decided to call up. Here's the issue about Real Time Dark Legend. I really don't think he's real. I think he's
Me
a
neither.
person who's pretending to be a Democrat. But I could be wrong. That would be wild though, because I think the guy.
Not him being real.
Because here's the I think the guy that called was for real. I think he was for real. But
Yeah,
man.
I think he was grandstanding, but he was for real. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was definitely for real.
It was someone who's deceived. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Let me look at the chat. See what-
CDL always name drops, Des Tiny, like that, some type of, the type of intellectual where like there's a fag about it. But that was him. I'm moderating his chat, and then the way he was arguing reminded just like him. And you said, "Can we stay on one thing?" And he's like, "No, but you pin me to the wall on this one. We have to move on."
Yeah.
He said InfoWars, and you said, what, are you saying Alex Jones is a radical? I didn't mention Alex Jones. You're going nuts, man. You're doing stuff that's like,
Oh, that what?
you're going to be that disingenuous.
Yeah, he really did go
I'm not
hard,
a Portland
Pac-Man.
fan, but, you know, it's like, I'm talking about Lakers. I'm not talking about Shaq
Right.
or Kobe. It's
Right,
like,
right.
Come on, bitch. You know what we mean. Yeah.
So,
Even I
yeah,
knew that.
he used Pac-Man tactics and, of course, the Kurt Eichenwald tactic as well. Was that real-time Dark Legend? Well, I guess we'll find out Monday.
Was that real-time Dark Legend?
And like we'll see if he called.
Well, he wouldn't address my thing I donated to you earlier. That's why. The only thing that bothers me is not that, oh, well, he pisses me off. I want someone to actually, like, try to answer
Right.
what they asked for. Like what you just said. Like, eventually I just say, dude, I'm not adding you anymore on the chat. Because when you get to the, well, HB's chat is full of, it's an echo chamber of Nazis. And I said, well, you're here. So by default, it's not an echo chamber if
Right.
you're in here.
Right.
You know, unless you're a Nazi, you know, because you're with us. That way it can stay an echo chamber. You can't do both.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope if it wasn't him,
About
I hope he.
regulations for socialism and all that.
Yeah, he just seems like a character, like just put on. I mean, when he showed up after his kind of vacation with a fucking Democrat donkey, like, God, like you got to be kidding me. That shit's. I don't know. It seems he seems put on.
He does that because I just have that because I just didn't want the D on this. This account's old too, and you know I was like, well, I'm gonna stop watching stuff so I can start subscribing to people a year or two ago. So I've got an old one. That way I don't have to keep looking for people and just be in there.
Sure.
And he wanted to say, well, you guys are Republicans, which I'm not. You know, I'm clearly like farther right than a Republican.
Right.
But I just have Trump, you know, because that was the placeholder, and he wanted to shit on me for that. Like, I know you're a Republican. Got Trump, and I thought Trump's not even Republican to me. He's way more liberal than me. Y'all have seen me in chat.
Yeah, sure.
That. But I was like, why are you going to pin me to Trump just because of my profile picture? If I've literally the day before chat asked, I was like, what's up with the donkey? Like, well, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a liberal. Kasich is a real conservative. It's just hilarious.
Right. That's like a Max Boot media narrative that John Kasich is the actual yeah, it's the internet's fascinating with situations like this.
I don't call myself conservative. What if they conservative? Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. It's
why I bully him. I'm on the offense.
Well, look, I mean, people have to be able to take whatever comes as long as it's legal in the chat, and I guess a lot of these things we'll never find out if they were actually real or fake. We'll just kind of that's really the point of anonymous posting on the internet. We'll never know, and it's fun. But yeah, so David Blackman, is that the new term for real-time Dark Legend? Like
somebody said I think Dark Legend. I don't know who it was.
Someone in the chat said that.
But they said
was it
Dark
Chad?
Legend, and I said,
Hold
yes.
on. I mean, someone said.
I think it was Chad.
Chad said Blackman Pac-Man. Yeah, so David Blackman. Yeah, that's it. Oh, no. Janston Cordell said it. I mean, there's probably other people that said it, but yeah, that was the chat. That's a good one. I hope he watches, because if he's real, I do actually want to keep talking to him, because any person that we could possibly deprogram, even if they act like Kurt Eichenwald, I don't care, as long as they keep calling back. Because you know what? Calling, if he's real, if this guy was real, calling is a sin. Calling and talking with the evil people is a sin. And if you still associate with us and you still call us, that's a good sign. That tells me that you're kind of like questioning, even if you won't admit it. So that's a good sign. Yeah.
Because he was calling us reactionary. I'm like, I'm not denying that I am. Like, if you're pushing me, then I'm going to react.
And like, what does that even mean? Like if you test, if the media says fuck all white people,
like you were just talking about,
if the media says fuck all white people and people react to that, what's wrong with that? Like
parade,
it's crazy.
All these parades are because they're reacting to something else. Yeah, I'm not for them, but I get the premise. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't fight, pride with pride, but that's quote unquote reactionary. You quote unquote fighting us before we get too far, down the Hitler road or whatever he thinks we're doing. That's reactionary. So he's a reactionary. That's like calling somebody an agent. We're all quote unquote.
And that's the other thing. If he thinks people are Nazis in the chat, why is he always in there? Outside of his
Right.
vacation, like he's in there all the time. Why would you? That's why I think these. I think there's some accounts they're there all the time, and I absolutely appreciate that. There's no demeanor. There's no rules on demeanor. You can have whatever character or demeanor you want. But I think when the ones that are there all the time that are a certain character, I'm like, there's no way if they're truly who they claim to be that they would be in this chat all this time.
Right. Oh yeah, there's so much shit you can say about him. What a little snake.
I also wondered if he was the Robert Mueller character. There was a guy that used to say Robert.
I don't
He was
know.
Robert
See,
Mueller.
I started following you in July 2018 because of JLP. So I didn't. He's the newest one because y'all said there was other ones, and like I appreciate the mod and stuff. And what got me funny was it wasn't RTDL, but it was that Anani or whatever, and people know him. And he came out of nowhere, they said, and it's like, well, what's up with all these mods? You haven't been here, but whatever, Elron. And I'm like, I got elected, you dickhead.
Yeah, I think he was actually one of the original HNN people. He's been around for a long time, and
right, and that's what chat said. Yeah.
The mod thing. So what I've been doing during streams is there's an option to enable and disable links. And I've been disabling them and not saying anything to see if the spammers come back, and they've come back sometimes. So I'm kind of in a situation. I think I have to decide to either just get rid of posting links, which I really don't want to do, or keep the mods in play. I guess the people can vote. We can do a vote, unless they stop at some point.
Mods, it doesn't matter.
But they're everywhere. They're I see those spammers all the time, and YouTube doesn't do anything about them. It's really ridiculous.
Yeah, you had somebody recently, because that Anon or whatever said, "Wow, are you going to ban me or something?" And everybody was laughing because I said, "I'm literally talking to you. Like you wouldn't be talking if I wanted to ban you, you dummy." He's unhinged. He's unhinged. Why would he ever give him a wrench? And it's like I don't even try to go after the posters. The shit posters because G. Cole or anybody else is on there like that, and I'll end up stomping on the wrong person. So, and it was funny. I'm wondering if they're going to send people in because people said you've been watching. There's no way somebody quote unquote found you like RTDL being recommended because the only reason I got it was back in the day before the new algorithms and is because it was related immediately that day to Jesse Lee Peterson. So that's the reason it was popping up because for a while I was just like, oh, this guy's live, but I didn't watch it,
Mm-hmm.
Shame on me, but kept popping up with that cube, and I was like, okay, I'll look at it.
Sure.
So there's no way now he would quote-unquote see it recommended.
Right, yeah, that's
I don't
true.
believe that.
That's
There's
true.
somebody in here yesterday, I think it was yesterday, and he, right before the debates, we weren't even doing anything edgy. We were just making jokes. I think, you do guerrillians and stuff like that.
Sure,
I don't do much, really. And somebody was saying, hey, it's not smart for a mod to be whatever. We could be taking down something, and MD was laughing at him, too. It's like...
It's like a person you never saw before?
I've never seen this dude.
Yeah.
I've literally never seen him, and I thought, can I get a second opinion? Because, I may not have seen him. Everybody's like, no, I don't know who that is. And sure enough, when you went over to D-Live, they didn't follow you. They even left before, like, they pulled it RTDL. It's like, well...
There also seems, I was watching... I think it was Revenge of the Sis, and they were talking about, or I think, no, it was one of the guys has the show. I think Mersh has a show that he does at night or something, Nightwave or whatever. Apparently, in some of the chats, there's people coming in that they've never seen before and just writing like real violent, over-the-top shit. And I'm like, okay, I've been looking out for it. So look out for that. If you see people you've never seen before, write some shit like, kill all cops or something. Because that's kind of what they tried to get Reddit... the Donald on, like some person comes in and posts some bullshit like that.
That's definitely what they're doing with that.
Yeah.
And with someone like that, like Merce, I don't follow him, but I know people in the chat do. There's other people that we all watch. They're just the right type of person where they're on your level to where it's just enough to want to cut the grass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's enough high enough to go after them. And what's crazy is if I've seen Francis in there, Lancer. Shout out Stormy, I'm squad leader apparently. But I was in there with Bobby and all these others. We were watching Judicial Watch. You know, the good JW. You know.
Yes, that's the
But,
good JW. Yes.
Tom Fitton was getting posted with the shit posters.
Jeez.
So even, you know what I mean? I think it's to get people banned.
Yeah, I think they're going
it's
to
like
do
when
that.
they go into people's discords and drop CP in there. And stuff.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah, this is going to be a fucking war. This is going to be crazy going into the election. They're going to pull all sorts of bullshit like this. I got to navigate that. It'll be interesting.
I'm not going to hold you much longer.
Sure.
To be, you know,
Yeah, no problem.
to share the quote unquote wealth. But me and David are about to go ham, and people use the term propaganda like it's dirty, like RTDL. It's just like realist, and I go, it depends on how you use it. You know what I mean? Because advertising, that's what I went to school for, graphic design. That's, you know, selling somebody Coca-Cola is propaganda.
Yeah.
Painting McDonald's really bright yellow and red so that they'll get in and get the fuck out because it hurts their eyes, but they don't know it. That's propaganda.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you use it.
Absolutely.
You know, we're all realists here, but we're not nihilistic about it, where there's no, like the caller, we think is RTDL. He had no point about it. He was saying real stuff, not, you know, not the fake, but the emotion was that he wasn't looking for a solution for it.
Interesting.
Well, you know, fuck it all, and then the HB chat that realizes the world's shit and we're partying, you know, so we're pragmatic.
Yeah. Well, look,
But-
I appreciate it, and shout out to the
Appreciate it.
chat, of course. Thank you so much for calling, and I appreciate your support, sir.
All right, when are you going to do the memes?
The meme? You mean the
Yeah, when are you going to do the next meme show?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Shit, I totally forgot for this one. We should do it the next
Shit is
call-in
right.
show. We should definitely do the next call-in
When
show.
will that be?
What do we do it every like 3 to 4 weeks? So what's this? Let me grab
I
the
guess
calendar. Let me grab a calendar real quick.
Say I'm
Here.
checking my calendar.
All right, so today is the
Next week I'll go to the beach. I'll send you my feet like Pac-Man.
today's the 29th. So next one, let's say like the 27th of July. I think that works. Or wait, July 27th.
Oh yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, all right. We'll do like
That's
the
a
meme
Thursday.
show. Yeah, or the 27th. Wait, do I have it? No, it's a Saturday, right? July
That's-
27th,
This is
Saturday. Yeah, we'll do it then.
Oh yeah,
that'll work.
I'm looking at June. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, we'll do the meme show then,
All right.
and they'll give me a month to collect memes from people, and I think that should be good. All right,
All
cool,
right.
man. Have a great
Stay
night.
hard.
All right, take care. All right, last call of the night. 240-240. You're on the air.
HB.
I knew it had to be you. I
motherfucker.
saw you in the chat. I'm like, this last call has to be Dark News Network. Perfect ending. What's up, sir?
How could you have a call-in show and not have flat Earth and Nazis?
Yeah, it would be
You just have to. It's just
immoral. It would be immoral and outrageous.
Part of the foundation.
Yes, absolutely.
How's the world been treating you, sir?
Pretty good. I have no complaints. Things are going pretty good.
How have you been treating the world?
I don't. It'll have to judge at some point. You know, it'll probably let me know. That's the problem. The world doesn't really let you know, at least in a manner that I would be willing to accept. You know, like clear. I need clear messaging, whether it's from God or any supernatural forces. I need like clear tap on the shoulder. You know, clear communication.
Hey, man, last time you said something about that you knew about Sheol.
Yeah,
What do
Jehovah's
you know about
Witnesses.
Sheol?
Sheol was okay. So they would say, they would tell us that Catholics believed Sheol was hell, and they said Sheol wasn't hell. It was like a trash dump back in the day where people would like dump their trash. That was basically the Sheol. And then there was a spiritual Sheol that was like, I believe, I don't know if they considered
Wait,
death
so
to be
there's
Sheol.
two? You're saying there's two?
Yeah, like I think there was a prophetic Sheol, which represented death, but like permanent death. Whatever. But yeah, that's basically.
Okay. And then there was a physical one where everybody threw their shit.
Yes, correct.
Where did they tell you where it was?
No, I don't. I mean, probably in one of the books it might have had a location, but I don't recall. It was in the Middle East, I imagine. Near Israel. It's probably near Israel.
Probably in the cube. Black fucking cube. It's in Israel, right?
There's a black cube in Israel?
No. Where the fuck is that cube? That thing that they spin around? You know what I'm talking about? It's in Israel. It's in Israel, I think.
Okay.
You don't know about the cube?
If I'm gonna real quick bring up my laptop
Trump
window.
I think Trump even touched the cube.
Hold on, Israel
Big fucking black
cube.
cube that's out there in fucking Israel. Everybody goes out there and touches the shit, and they spin around it like a bunch of insects.
What? I seen him go to the wall. I'm looking this up. Yeah, no, I don't see anything. I put Israel cube, and it just brings me a bunch of artwork.
Listen to me.
Yes, I'm listening.
Listen to me.
Okay.
I'm here to tell you about windmills. All right, we're talking about windmills. You're not defending the truth. You know that Trump is here telling people the truth about windmills, and you're out here lying to motherfuckers.
Oh, that dude was pissed about the windmill comment. That dude thought that was a disqualifying comment.
Bad.
Windmills are bad?
They're not. They're no good, dude. They cause bad deal. They got lots of problems. Like, I mean, think about it like this, right? How would you like it if you walked outside and the sun was on a strobe?
Yeah, that wouldn't be
fucking
pleasant.
face. How would you?
That wouldn't be
That would
pleasant.
suck, right?
Yes.
Have you ever had a fridge that was broken? Like a broken fridge that was making that like a white noise, like a really bad like noise.
Yeah.
So imagine that like a million times, and the sun is strobing, all right? And then like imagine that you've got like some cattle or some shit, and then your cattle are fucking dying, right?
Yeah.
Your cows are dead. And
That's
you're
like-
like, well, my cows are dead, the sun's strobing, and I can't fucking think because everything is buzzing every fucking where that I go.
Yeah. And there's another aspect.
Like the beginning, right?
You know the other
And then
aspect of it?
You get cancer.
I don't
Yeah,
want to step
and
on
then
your
cancer
material,
comes.
but there is another aspect to it.
What's the other?
You're getting sprayed with bird guts and shit because they keep running into the fucking windmills. That's That's bad. That's bad business.
So don't let that shit fly, man. You gotta fuck those fuck windmills. That shit sucks. And I'm an environmentalist. I do that shit for a living. I go door to door. I do water shit. Fuck windmills.
His issue was that Trump claimed that they cause cancer. I thought he was being sarcastic, but I don't think he would admit it was
Dude,
possible.
I mean, it's low frequency electromagnetic radiation.
Yeah?
It gets into the ground. It's basically like noise pollution, but when it comes to electricity and it gets into the ground, and then that's what I was talking about where the cows die. I mean, there's literally in Iowa. There's a town right now that successfully made a windmill company remove 3 windmills at a cost of around $11 million because they proved how horrible the windmills were to the public.
Interesting.
And they fucking got them removed.
Huh.
I mean, that shit is out there. It's true. And if you type in what I just said, low frequency electromagnetic radiation poisoning, you'll find the definition on the cancer website. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm fucking saying, motherfucker?
I do. This was the problem with the comment. It wasn't something that I necessarily cared that much about because I just chalked it up to. He seemed like he was doing material. He was like, you see here, he was like, he said something about like, can we have lights today, dear? Or can we watch TV today, dear? I thought that shit was funny. I thought he was just doing material.
It is.
So I was like, whatever, like it didn't really. I was like,
You insert truth along with the comedy, and that way people are open more to it because they're laughing, but at the same time they're taking in that information. And that information is out there for people like me to latch onto and be like, look at this shit. He's telling the truth.
Gotcha. Yeah, but that was, I guess it's upsetting people. You know what?
Windmills, you can't let that.
That's how you know that someone is brainwashed by the media, that when they are coming to talk to someone and the one thing they bring up is the fucking windmill comment, like, like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. How about that he hired John Bolton? If someone called up and was like, he hired Bolton, Bolton's a maniac, I'd be like, yeah, I can't argue with you there. That's a legitimate criticism. But no, they come up with the media bullshit.
You know, I think it's the name of that lawyer, that lawyer that he used to have. That dude was a fucking maniac. That's what he does. He hires maniacs.
Cohen?
He keeps them on a leash and fucking.
Cohen, yeah, Cohen was brutal.
No, it wasn't Cohen.
It was
like before that in his early times. He was like a mob lawyer.
Well, there was the guy that was with Nixon, Roy Cohn. He liked Roy Cohn. Didn't he have Roy Cohn as a lawyer? That guy? I don't know who the other.
Oh, okay, maybe that's right.
It's probably Roy Cohn, yeah.
I can understand. Well, I mean, we should move on.
Sure, yeah. We haven't talked about Hitler yet.
I know. Well, I think that's the next subject.
Sure.
Here. What do we got?
Yeah, whatever you want.
I got a couple. No, we're saving Hitler for last.
Okay, sure.
Jarl Antoy is the last. I wanted to lose some flat Earth in your fucking face here.
Sure, okay.
Are you familiar with Jarl Antoy? Have I talked to you about Jarl
No.
Antoy before?
Maybe. I am not familiar with him, though.
He was the dude who went to Antarctica and tried to breach the wall and lost his ship and they sunk his ship.
Oh. They killed him?
No, all right. Yeah, well, no, it's a crazy fucking story. Okay, so this dude's name is Jarl Antoy. If you want to look him up, it's Jarleandhoy, and he's basically a self-described pirate or a Viking. And he's a Norwegian dude, and we went out in his sailboat against all wishes of legal authorities because they wouldn't grant him the proper permits, and he said, well, fuck you, and got into his boat.
Okay.
And I think the boat was called the Berserk, and he even filmed it. It's actually in Norwegian, and you can watch it. There's 10 hours worth of footage. And so he goes out, and he flies to the wall. Or not flies. He flies. HB, he flies.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he gets out there to the wall, and he makes landing. I think he pulls into, I forget the fucking which bay it was, but he pulls into was it Japan? It was some country like Japan or Norway or something like that. But he pulled into some bit fucking bay and didn't park his boat there yet. They unloaded first, and he jumped on a jet ski, basically, like a really hard, badass jet ski.
Okay.
And made a beeline for the South Pole, for what the South Pole would be, or what was claimed to be the South Pole. So he's going on making a beeline on a fucking jet ski, not a jet ski, a snowmobile. Sorry.
Gotcha.
That's
I got you.
Snowmobile. It's like, brother. Let me hit this phone again. Of course, I'm not stoned enough. Is the problem here? He's going further and further towards the South Pole, and yet he gets a call, and the call is from his shipmates, a distress signal. No, voice or anything, just distress signal. He's like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? He tries to call him back. There's no call. Turns around in his fucking snowmobile, goes back to where the ship was. The ship is no longer there, my friend.
Oh.
And neither are three of his shipmates. And so he's just sitting there stranded on a fucking snowmobile. And he never saw his three best friends ever again. They are dead or in some other realm or whatever the fuck. His ship disappeared, no longer to be with us. And he's still around. He's just really mentally out of it. I've actually tried to contact him. I maintain a constant nag. I'm always sending him letters or fucking calling him or some shit or hitting him up on Facebook. And he apparently sells rum or something now, but he doesn't talk about what happened, dude. He just fucking, his shit disappeared.
Wow.
He actually keeps going back there and trying to find his boat and his friends, and they claim that his boat sunk, but they won't let him look for his boat and find any of it. Or it's a crazy story. But
interesting. I
just like to bring it up because people will often be like, oh, hey, why don't you run to the wall yourself, or go jump in a voyage and go discover the dome. And well, this is here's an example of what happens if you do that. and I'm not necessarily trying to get into that right now.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
I gotcha. Interesting.
I don't want to die.
No, well, it's understandable. That's understandable.
Not yet. And I had to defend Bigfoot a little bit. What were you going to say?
Do you watch? Have you ever seen the David Stay show on YouTube?
No, you keep saying that.
Yeah, look him up.
I will look it up.
Flat Earth guy. He's like an Italian Uncle Tommy. I find him to be funny. He reminds me of a family member. And so, depending on if you say something the wrong way, he might tell you to fuck off. But he's one of these dudes. I don't know if you're like familiar with Italians. Like Italians like him, if he tells you to fuck off, it's not really. Don't take it personal. He'll like go through. He goes through chats with paper. He like prints them out and goes through them. It's very, I don't know. I find I find it entertaining. Anyway, he's a flat Earth guy, and I find the show entertaining. But check it out. I think he's new to YouTube, but he might ban you from the chat. So it's like I don't agree with that. But stay on his good side. I think if you talk about flat Earth, he'll probably like you.
If you're freaking getting along with people who ban people from chats, then you should flip a new page in your book for Owen Benjamin.
Oh, I watch him from time to time. I don't generally.
He's really trying to.
Yeah, if someone bans people, I don't stop watching them. I just don't agree with what they're doing, but I'll still watch. I mean, he's like sometimes watching Alex Jones. I am very entertained by Owen Benjamin. I'm also entertained by when Revenge of the Sis does videos commentating on Owen Benjamin. I'm also very entertained by that. It's very, very good material on YouTube.
Nice. And there's like all those channels that cut 10-minute, 15-minute videos
Clips, yeah.
into really awesome nice segments.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
If
enjoy
you didn't
that.
notice, I'm just doing constant dabs while I'm talking to you. It's just like one after the other. It's just going to continue
Dad,
this way.
you must have an incredible weed tolerance. I think if I did a dab, I'd be on my ass. That's amazing.
It's what we must do to worship the gods properly. If you
Gotcha.
understand
Oh,
this.
if it's your religious beliefs,
Yeah.
more power to you. Fantastic.
Speaking of,
Yeah,
how
sure.
are they going? The cult of NASA.
The cult of
How's that
NASA.
rocking for
I
you?
don't really go to the meetings. I don't really, it's just not really like any sort of requirements. They kind of leave you alone, They do a couple launches, and I don't really watch those either. I'm really not a good NASA cultist. I don't really pay attention to them.
Yeah, they really learned to get people hooked and not have to pay attention to the addiction. It's true.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Lots of indoctrination from birth.
Yeah, well, look. I mean,
No,
I
pay
certainly,
attention to
I certainly think that there's a lot of that. I just, I'm not the Earth being flat. I'm skeptical on that being the case. Although moon landing, if you're talking about moon landing, that I'm actually skeptical of. I don't buy
For sure.
the moon landing.
We'll get to that by all means.
Gotcha,
But, I mean, first,
gotcha.
I wanted to talk about Bigfoot. It's got to say Nazis for last. Bigfoot, though.
Okay, yeah.
What do you know about Bigfoot? What do you know about
I generally the mainstream Bigfoot I would argue is bullshit. If you were to tell me that there's some sort of creature that's maybe kind of like an ape running around in like another part of the world, fine. I don't buy. Where were the Bigfoot sightings? Like Bigfoot sightings in places where there's no chance of like apes or monkeys. I don't buy that. If you're telling me there's like a Bigfoot creature in Africa, yeah, okay, that might be the case. That might be the case.
So I can go with that. If you want to really have some shit to keep you up at night, look up Missing 411 or David Paulides. He's this cop who started looking into how in the national forests people disappear. They don't actually keep records of people who disappear in the national forest.
Interesting.
It's pretty crazy. To sum it up quickly, was a cop who was investigating a murder and called up the National Forest. It was like, hey, motherfuckers, do you have any records on this murder? And the National Forest was like, no, we don't. We don't keep records of them. And he was like, what the fuck? How do you not keep records of that shit? And
Right.
he said, hey, if you want the records, actually, we could do a full evaluation. We could give them to you for like $60 million. Some bullshit. So that's insane. I'm going to start looking into this myself personally. So I started gathering information on it. People disappear in national parks in really creepy situations. It's fascinating if you want to keep yourself up at night. Missing 411.
Interesting.
But kind of on that thread, one of my famous one of these examples was Dyatlov Pass. Are you familiar with this?
What's it called?
Dyatlov Pass. It's
No.
DYA. No. Okay. It's kind of the Russian. Like the Russian Roswell is a good way to say it. But
I think I saw a TV show about this, and we talked about it the other day in the chat, and some people think it's like the gateway to hell.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the gateway to hell, but it's just crazy.
There's crazy shit going on there. Yeah.
There's like 9 people who got like totally murdered.
Yeah.
One of them had their eyes pulled out.
Yeah.
Tongue pulled out.
Crazy shit.
Okay, so you know about this.
Yeah.
This is good then. The lesson of that one is just not to piss Bigfoot off. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Piss Bigfoot off, man. Don't go.
Oh, you think it was Bigfoot that did that?
Obviously.
Oh.
Of course. What the fuck else is it? I mean, they were hunting Bigfoot. If you look at their pictures they took, because they actually had a camera with them and they took all these pictures, and it gets really creepy. You can see the different pictures, like how it turns from being on this trek through the woods to being fucking really creeped out and having something follow you, and apparently they were told that Bigfoot was out there, and that was the whole region they were hiking, and they were going in that direction.
This is what I wonder. How come it couldn't be a creature that I mean, look, there are plenty of species that haven't been discovered yet. I would think, wouldn't it be whatever possible species would be in that area, rather than like Bigfoot? Like, I don't understand how you get from possible undiscovered animal to Bigfoot. That's a huge leap in my opinion. How do you get from one to the other? I don't understand. Like, aren't there like I know there's not like lions out there, so you can like cross that off. But were there bears? Are there bears near there? Could it have been a bear? Like,
well, you just have to kind of get down to the narrow things down, and from what we know of, the only things that there are actual reports of that are the size and of an inclination that could perform such atrocities would be maybe like a gigantic fucking pissed off bear or a Bigfoot, but there wasn't signs of any pissed off bear, and there was like dogs and everything like out there. There were the usual things that would note on bears. So it was a really creepy one, and that occurrence is repeated throughout the nation in national forests in really creepy ways. The similarities are pretty much only around 3, I think. There's one of them is that it happens around bodies of water, and the other one is that people go missing and they end up dead, and then the other one is that they're missing their shoes or articles of clothing, and then there's not like consistent signs of death that align with natural occurrences. And like especially with Dyatlov Pass, it's funny to use that term because Russia deemed it natural occurrences. was how those 9 people died.
yeah, that was
like,
bullshit.
oh,
Yeah, that's not possible. I remember that. Yeah, they were those, like, it was crazy murders, or whatever killings. They were absolutely butchered. Yeah, like how? What would the natural occurrence? That doesn't even make sense. A natural occurrence. That's not possible.
And that's the same thing with the missing 411. I mean, I'm talking creepy shit, man. Like people disappearing who are 5 feet behind you around a corner, and you find them, 9 miles south over mountain ridges with their shoes off, just like dead from unknown reasons. with no signs of travel, just really freaky shit. And it's just over and over and over again. It's a very interesting documentation of it. All right, before we get too long, we need to get to Hitler.
Sure, let's get to Hitler. Absolutely.
Do you know about Operation Paperclip?
No, what was that?
Okay, so you have faith in NASA.
I do.
This is your
Okay.
your God here.
NASA,
Well,
okay.
and you're round Earth, you know. You talk
Okay.
about round Earth is the way it is, right?
Right.
And everything that you get that tells you the Earth is round comes from NASA. Am I incorrect in this statement?
Yeah, I mean, that's broadly. Okay, I'll give you that broadly. Go ahead.
Well, so NASA was originally founded by Nazis.
Really?
And this came through. This came through Operation Paperclip. It happened in 1945. This was where we took around almost 2,000. Well, it was interesting because there actually was more around 3,000, but they say it was 2,000 scientists from Nazi Germany over, and we used them to build the rockets in our rocket propulsion laboratory, especially the founder of NASA, the godfather, so to speak. His name was Werner von Braun.
Mm-hmm.
It's spelled with W's. And this guy, it's the fascinating thing about that is Werner von Braun, when he died, he wrote on his tombstone a reference to a psalm, and I forget the name, the verse of it or whatever. But what it was a reference to the Bible where it said, "And the firmament showeth his handiwork."
Okay.
The saying, I mean, why would the founder of NASA be saying, "And the firmament showeth his handiwork"? This is interesting.
I mean, he could have believed in God or
Interesting
like
thing.
the psalm.
I'm just saying it's a little bit of a hint, but yeah, I was just saying. So NASA, founded by Nazis, you got Werner von Braun dropping hints about the firmament, the dome. You got freaking a lot of trust in a lot of lies that has been passed down through generations and through generations. And I just don't really understand why that trust is so easily passed on, especially after breaking free of the cult of your former incarceration. I don't like to see it. I don't want your eyes closed, HB.
You know what? I think part of it is there's no real like in the Jehovah's Witnesses, there is a grind that you must do 5 days a week, and there's no real mandatory activity that I have to do for NASA, so it doesn't really become any sort of like priority because, like, if there's no like, it's just kind of like if the Earth was flat, that's how it goes. It's really not going to affect me. I think that's probably part of the reason that I haven't really done a ton of research into it, because it's not like I don't really know what would change other than it would just be yet another thing that turns out to be bullshit, which is, it's pretty common.
Wouldn't it be crazy if it was hiding God, though? Like, if God was truly a creator, and not like saying the God that's in the Bible, because that shit was written by humans,
Sure.
and it's all fucked up to begin with. I'm saying just because when you look at it, it seems to be that there's something that created what we're in, and we're especially you can even go into the science of it where they're finding that the data comes back heliocentric. I'm sure I'm probably of the opinion all that data's bullshit, but it does come back heliocentric.
Well, yeah, I'm not like a hardcore atheist where I say with certainty God doesn't exist. I think that kind of certainty is bullshit. I think it's bullshit. But I would be interested, like if it revealed God and he's taking appointments and I can like talk to him directly, that would be great. I would absolutely do that. But other than that, like it's really other than something like that, that's really that's my metric for the existence of things. So if that were to happen, now if you're saying the possibility of some force or something out there that created all this, it's certainly possible. I'm not. I can't say for 100% sure that didn't happen, but I also don't think people could say for 100% certainty that it did happen. I think the certainty on either side is kind of bullshitty to me. But Yeah, I don't dismiss the possibility. I don't believe it's any of the gods of the books. I think it would be something. It could also be this. Give me one moment to explain this, and you tell me if you get this. It could also be something like this. Have you ever seen, like really zoomed in, like microscopic shit at like a million degrees or whatever, a million times zoomed in? Like sometimes they'll show a record, and you see all the grooves and shit, and how you know how it's like another world in those microscopic things. You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about like you're on like a leaf, and you zooming in on the droplets of water, and
it's like another world. It could be a situation where there's simply beings that are so far above us that we are the ones under the microscope, and this is our world. And those people are God, and that's basically we're just on our plane, and to them we look like total microscopic creatures in another world, and that's basically it. That's pretty good for not being high. You know, I'm not high. I just did that, and I'm not even high. That's not bad.
I mean, I'm the last caller. You can at least take some fucking tokes for me.
Oh yeah, I have. What do I have here? I have. I'm just saying that's pretty good for sober thinking. That's like high thinking while sober.
True.
Anyway.
True. All right. Well, I mean, it's true. And the only thing I guess that I disagree with is the motivation. For me, there's so much motivation because it actually makes the world so much more intriguing. Think about it. You've got a fucking wall, this dome. A dome and a wall, an ice wall that's forbidden, and that people are apparently all interested throughout the world. They're all off limits to everybody. The fucking Antarctica is fascinating to me. Everybody, and if you look into the history of it, it just gets even more fascinating because all the people going out there to explore it. But further than that, I mean, you've got like. I think people have tried to talk to God before too, like with like the Tower of Babel is probably a good representation.
Yeah. I don't know if that actually happened. It's definitely a story. It's definitely like a story in the Bible. I think a lot of that shit, as far as relics. Oh yeah, well, I mean, what? And then like they got too close, and God was like, "Fuck this. Let's fuck up their effort so they can't truly see what's going on, or they're being too uppity as human beings."
I don't know the Bible too well, but I know there's a part in there where they take some dude to the top of a mountain and they show him, or I guess they even pull him out of the mountain, or they show him the dome, and the dome fills up with water, and that's like part of one of the apocalypse. I forget the name of it.
There's the titty dome. They pulled someone up in the mountain and showed them in Revelation. Or are you talking about like Abraham?
Wasn't it Enoch? I can't remember.
Enoch. Well, Abraham, they told him. Abraham took it. God told Abraham to take his son up and kill him. Basically, God fucking with someone and being like, "Hey, kill your son," and he's like, "Okay." And then he was like, "I'm just kidding. Don't kill him. I just wanted to see what you would do." Like, what the fuck is that shit? You can't. That's a human being wrote that story. God would never do some shit like that. That is a human being that wrote that fucking story, my friend. Give me a break. I'm just kidding.
It probably wasn't even God. That shit was probably fucking Satan, and he's probably real too. Yeah, if God's real, then Satan's real, and you can see that shit with all the baby eating fuckers out there. Like, it's crazy. It does give you inspiration and fear at the same time. It's fun. Gives you a little bit of a jolt.
I see. I can't. This is the problem with the like baby eating shit. I can't really. That is evil, and like, what's the explanation for that level of evil? I have no explanation for that level of evil. So, if you want to say it's supernatural, I can't. I mean, you know, I don't have evidence it's supernatural, but it's definitely beyond the realm of, I think, normal human being to think and do something that crazy. So, I think that's a better argument for the existence of some sort of supernatural evil than like a story in the Bible. I think those are much more convincing arguments.
I think that what it is kind of a dipole situation. You've got on one side you've got spiritual realm where you probably come back reoccurring into different lifetimes. You've got friends in that reoccur into different bodies in each one of those lifetimes that surround you, and it's just kind of like a learning situation each time. You gain something spiritually, you grow. And then on the other side, you've probably got people who are based on material wealth that focus on building that material wealth and even focus on not having to go into the spiritual realm when they die, and maybe even pass on their spirits into another body, so to speak. And that's like maybe the apex of that evil, is figuring out how to avoid the spiritual realm altogether and focus on the material world. And that's the kind of the best idea that I've been able to frame from it so far.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, like Moloch and all that shit. You gotta like kill babies and fuck them. Like I think that's like how you access that evil by like just purely like doing it. You probably do get in touch with Satan just so much as someone would get in touch with God. It's probably there.
I mean,
power.
Yeah, I would think that it's probably some sort of mental illness or defect that the person was born with that allows them, but to do crazy shit like that, it's, I don't know. It's interesting. I think like humans have such an aversion to that kind of shit that, like, because you can't have too many people in your species doing crazy shit like that. You'll get wiped out. So like there's very strong reactions to that kind of shit. But yeah, I don't really, I can't blame people for thinking that there's some sort of evil behind it or evil force, because it's really an unexplainable, this shit that we're talking, it's like an unexplainable type of behavior that like most normal people would never even consider it. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think you're getting what I'm putting down here, picking up what I'm putting on the fence. Fucking
absolutely
jumping the same cucumber. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed, sir. Indeed. Well, look, I got to wrap up. I do appreciate the call. It's not a call-in show without talking to you about Hitler. So definitely appreciate it, sir.
Covered all subjects.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, except for, no, I wanted to yell at you about Trevor. Fucking play Trevor Moore's videos sometimes. Man, that motherfucker's awesome. Yeah, the guy who you played his kids, the whitest kids you know. But he, like, I guess that shit broke up, and then he made his own thing, and it's named after him, and it's fucking amazing.
It's that type of humor that really like just over the top crazy shit. I like that stuff.
It's nuts. It's nuts. I can't believe he still exists doing what he does. He hasn't done anything for a couple of years, but he's apparently, hopefully, still alive.
Yeah.
But all the shit that he's done is awesome.
I think once we get like a decent uncensored home, we can fucking do all sorts of shit. It's just I'm waiting for BitChute. I hope BitChute streams soon, because I think that'll be a game changer. So anyway, well, very good, sir. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Be safe.
If you ever slowly find yourself slipping away into the brinks of madness, dive.
Dive into it. Okay. I got
you.
Dive.
Friend.
I got you. All right, man. Have a good night. All right, take care.
Yes, sir.
All right. Actually, it brings up something interesting about. I think Christians could, because like, look, what happened with and I'm not talking about whatever people's personal beliefs are. I'm saying like in the mainstream, the Christian right kind of had a big setback. And now that we've gotten quite a few years of what it would be like with leftists in control, I think they could reformulate a lot of their arguments and this time win them. I really think instead of arguing like any shit about the Bible, and I'm not saying for your personal beliefs, believe whatever you want. I'm not saying, I'm not saying that like it should be frowned upon or forbidden to use the Bible. If you feel like that's the best thing, then do that. But as far as an argument I would find more convincing is if you don't argue the supernatural, and instead, I've actually seen this kind of, and you can have whatever opinion about Jordan Peterson, but what I find very interesting about, like, he'll give these speeches and he will talk about different stories in the Bible, but not from the standpoint of this actually happened and you have to believe this actually happened. It's more from the standpoint of what can you learn from the story? What does the story teach? And I think if they take that approach and then they can take this approach, I think you can make the argument that some of the teachings clearly, when you compare them to what leftists are trying to do, are absolutely societally superior. And you would be much better off in a society with, well, I guess, the morals. I don't want them to be like enforced or mandatory or any shit like that. But certainly the comparing, like, you know, the day-to-day or the I don't know, the agenda of like church-going Christians compared to like what we went over the other night in the article about, like, basically you had trannies passing out like dick pamphlets to kids at the library, and then people that went in to try to be like, yeah, this is fucked up, they were harassed by Antifa. And I really think that, like, if you compare them, if you're making the argument not like, you know, this is mandatory or that God is personally intervening in anywhere, if you just make the argument that like, if you have these traditions and or these, again, not that everyone must go along with it, but that certainly this is a much more reasonable and better way for a society. Like, you have the entire foundation of the country. I just think that I don't know. I wonder if you do less of the, like, arguing about how the universe came into play, and you focus more on just how fucking insane leftists are. And if the people, I mean, really, the main people I had an issue with were the people that were assholes about it, that were like, oh, you know, you're going to hell. I mean, I don't care if you personally believe I'm going to hell, but this whole thing of like, oh, if you don't agree with me, you're a bad person and kind of shit. If they just chill with that and start to just make an argument about, like, look at the fruits of our side and look at the fruits of their side. Now, there's certainly, it's not perfect, and if we're talking about like the Catholic Church, there's definitely issues there. But I think the average person, if you don't like enforce or make some kind of bending the knee mandatory, I think you can make the argument. And maybe this is just wishful thinking, and that'll never happen. But I think you could actually formulate arguments this time, now that we've had, like, I don't know, it's been like 5 to 8 years of this crazy shit. You can also argue about, look what happened after gay marriage was made legal. The slippery slope. It didn't happen exactly how they said, but it definitely happened. And so that's interesting. Anyway, that's just a thought. Okay. So anyway, that is the end of the stream, and thank you very much, everybody that called in. And thank you for watching the news stream, and I really appreciate the support. I think there was a couple of super chats real quick. Cherry Cool 55, regular super chat, no message. Thank you very much. Robert Hendricks says, just thought you should know the stream isn't appearing in YouTube alerts, subscreens, or homepages. Yeah, that's the YouTube fuckery. And you know what's... It's not good, but at least for tonight, it made the call-in show manageable. What do we do it in? We did it. It's 3 o'clock. And that's about what normal. Actually, last time I think we finished around 3:40, 4 o'clock. So, I guess it makes it manageable. Alfalfa says, "Nice lady. Can we sterilize the trannies?" Yeah, I don't think they would go for that in the government. I forget what government. What were we talking about? Iceland or whatever. I don't think they would go for that. But they might eventually go for mandatory making everyone trannies. Dark News Network says, dicks out for flat earth. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate the call, as always. All right, so next stream is 8 p.m. Eastern Monday, and I'm going to try to do this video premiere thing at 7 p.m. Eastern. A video premiere is where, like, the video plays. I'll be in the chat, and and then after the video plays, we'll start the normal stream, and we'll do it like that. Anyway, you can get an archive. I'll retweet an archive on Twitter, and I'll also upload it to the different podcast sites and whatnot. All right, guys, I will see you Monday. I am the Hard Bastard. Thank you for watching.